Everyone, welcome back. It's Melanie, your She Shed Scrapper. So today I am back with a one-page layout using the Home for Christmas collection from Close to My Heart. If you have not heard, unfortunately, at the end of June, I believe it is, Close to My Heart is shutting down for good. And another unfortunate, I have actually already stepped away. I stepped away in February before the whole announcement was made. So if you love Close to My Heart, which I still do, make sure that you find another maker and stock up. The inks are one of my absolute favorites. So definitely, I know lots of things are selling out already. But if you love Close to My Heart, definitely check them out. So enough with that. This layout is actually going to be not a two-part series, I guess. So I am using kind of one sketch I came up with, and I'm going to use it two different ways. So this is part one, and tomorrow will be part two. What I did is my background paper I cut to 10 by 10, and that is the white paper. I then cut 4 4x4 squares in pattern paper, and then I actually cut my photo down to 4x4 as well. And so you will see kind of how this one comes together, and then I'm going to switch it up for tomorrow's layout a little bit. So unfortunately, my squares did not all cut out perfectly. I do have some gaps, so that made me kind of adjust part of my layout a little bit, add to it an element that I wasn't going to at first. But love this collection and love the colors of this collection. So actually, now that I look at it, I did not separate my busy papers. I would have, looking back, maybe separated the black and white phrase paper and the plaid paper. However, I did this one a little while ago, and my thought is I'm going to add my title to the bottom, and maybe I put the busier ones at the top so that my title stuck out more. So either way, if you were to scrap lift, I think either way would work out well. I don't think any of these are super busy, but maybe if you do have a couple of busier papers, separate them, add them like diagonally across the layout. You can see that there's white space in between the wood grain and the black and white. And so that is why I am adding this element. This is the piece that I hadn't planned on. And it works, and I like the way that it looks, but I just kind of wanted to fill in that white space. So that's just a zip strip, and I cut it down and dovetailed both ends of it. I am matting the 10 by 10 in the black, so that's probably 10 1/4 or 10 1/2 by 10 1/2. And I'm doing that because I wanted then to have a bigger border of this red and white plaid. However, because I usually cut my inside paper 11 by 11, I cut an inch out, or I think it's 11 by 11 out of the middle. So my paper just barely covers up the hole I put in the red and white plaid paper. So if you're kind of a repeat idea scrapbooker and change it up a little bit, it might be a good idea to double check your measurements before you make the cut. So you can see I'm taping the back because I just wasn't sure that the tape I added to the front, and you can see I'm trying to peel it up. I wasn't sure if it was going to stick well enough or if my, middle section was going to fall right off. So, definitely double check your measurements if you're going to gut a paper, because that was a mistake I've made, I think, a couple of times at this point when I cut my kind of main base paper smaller than normal. So I am using these black die cuts. These are, I think, from the same collection. And again, I don't know if this is still available or not. just using up my stash. This is one of the Christmas collections I brought inside, and so it just worked out nice for me. But I wanted to use the word Christmas, and then I wanted my full title to be Christmas Jammies. And so I am going to then finish off the title using that alpha you see kind of sneaking off to the left there. And I'm going to alternate the red and the green. So once I have it all lined up and taped down, I am going to then continue with my embellishing. The ephemera here, or the die cuts you see here that came with the collection, are actually 3 different colors. But then I also have a different embellishment sheet there, that die cut sheet that's all black and white. That might be like Jingle All the Way. It's an older collection, before I even started, I think, but they had the die cuts still left over, so I wanted to use that. And then I remembered I had flares from Scrap and Happy Studio, so I'm going to bring those in a little bit and see if I can incorporate any of those around the layout. I did struggle, and I don't really know why I struggled so much embellishing this layout. I guess maybe with the title at the bottom and how large it is, I wasn't really sure where to then place my embellishments. Wasn't sure, do I do 2 large ones? How do I embellish this layout? So again, just because I sketch out a layout ahead of time doesn't mean I know exactly how or where I'm going to embellish. I did then decide to add some flags to the right hand side of the page. One was off the sticker sheet, and then 2 were off of the different die cut sheets. So I did add that to the right hand side, so that's going to be a smaller cluster. And then I am going to add this scallop circle with the wreath in the middle to the top. I do end up overlapping it on my photo, and so because I popped my photo up on foam tape, I then had to pop at least part of that sticker up on foam tape as well, just to keep kind of it level, I guess. Once I do that, though, this is where I kind of don't know where else to embellish or what else to use. I did like the idea of adding the flares from Scrap and Happy Studio because I have that circular element at the top. Adding circular elements elsewhere I thought would be a good idea. I did get into my stash because I think that was part of why I was struggling, was that I didn't have or didn't feel like I had a lot of options with the Home for Christmas collection, whatever pieces I had left over. So I did get into my stash. I think this is the Pink Fresh Holiday Wishes collection. I will look that up and then link it down below for you guys if you are interested, because I know that is still available. I believe a cherry on top, and if not, I'll look at scrapbook.com for you. I did like how I could layer that circular frame at the top and keep with that circular element. So I did keep that. I like that ornament flare from Scrap and Happy Studio, but then really tried to incorporate these puffy stickers from the Pink Fresh collection and didn't love that. I did end up keeping the word joy to the right on those flags, but needed to spruce that up. I couldn't just leave that one little element, and so I just needed to figure out what else I could add to that. And what I do end up doing is bringing in another flare from Scrap and Happy Studio. So once again, that circular element will be in another cluster as well. And once I do end up adding that flare there, I do kind of have to add some foam tape to that joy, because I am going to overlap the joy on that circular flare. Those ones I think are just great. They have a subtle pattern to them, but just bring in yet another pattern and bring in that color, and for me, another circular element. So the title, I was just not sure if I should keep the title as is, if I should add something to the title. Again, because it's so large, I felt like if I were to add something to either side of the title, the whole layout would have been almost lopsided, I guess. So what I ended up doing is just decided to add that phrase sticker underneath the Christmas jammies and call it good. I don't know why I struggled with this one, but I do love the final product. So again, I will look and see if any or all of what I used is still available and link it down below for you guys. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.